Good morning. This is a convening of the Massachusetts Gaming Commission. Today is January 8th, 2026. It's approximately 10:05 a.m. I'm the reason for the delay. Jordan Maynard. I serve as chair. This is meeting number 577. We're hosting this meeting virtually, so we will do a roll call. Good morning, Commissioner O'Brien.
Good morning, I am here.
Good morning, Commissioner Hill.
Good morning, I am here.
And good morning, Commissioner Broder.
Good morning, everybody. I am here.
All right. So with that, we have a jam-packed day, but really the same type of information coming at us. We're going to kick it over to the sports wagering division. Good morning, Carrie Teresi.
Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. I am going to turn it right over to Compliance and Operations Manager Lamb, who will walk us through today's presentations.
Thank you, Carrie. Good morning, Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. To kick off the Q3 2025 quarterly presentations, we'll start with Bally's.
Good morning, everyone. I'm going to share my screen. Please let me know when you can see it.
We've got it. Good morning, Kim.
Great. Good morning, everyone. Good morning, Chair, Commissioners, staff, and guests. I am Kim McAllister, Corporate Director of North America Interactive for Bally's. Today, we have Tracy Wiley, our Executive Director of Diversity, Equity, Inclusion, speaking to our workforce diversity. We also have Colin Bailey, our Vice President, Global Procurement, who will be speaking to our supplier diversity and vendor spend. Francesco Mosconi, goes by Frank. He's our Director of Gaming Finance, North America Interactive. He's here for questions on our account registration operations, as well as speaking to our responsible gaming. We also have David Sousa, our responsible gaming manager, who will discuss the responsible gaming community outreach and charitable impacts. Also on the call is Aaliyah Trowbridge, our Senior Vice President, Chief Compliance Officer. I will begin with slide 1. Slide 1 has our revenue for the third quarter as is shown on slide 1 and as reported to the commission. And now I'll turn it right over to Tracy to discuss the next 2 slides. Tracy?
Good morning, everyone. Hello, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to present for the Q3 2025 Sports Wagering Quarterly Report. Bally's is continuing its commitment to advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion across its workforce. And the Q3 review reflects both our progress and areas of focus for improvement. If you look at slide 2, you'll note that there are a couple key takeaways. Under our minority representation, we have experienced a little bit of a decline in our executive category of about 3.45%, bringing that total to about 23.55%, a little bit down from our Q2 report. However, in the same period, our women or female representation made most significant progress, with representation reaching 25.71% or 11% gain, marking our strongest gain this quarter. Amongst our managers, we also experienced a little bit of a decline there of about 5.28%. And our overall workforce marginal improvements were around 33.79%. Our bottom line is still slightly above our Q2 numbers, and then we're excited to report that we achieved about a 3% increase, reflecting our early success and a little bit of traction under our veteran hiring initiatives. Any questions about slide 2?
Sure. I think we're good.
Okay, great. So I'll move on to slide 3 around engagement and outreach. Bally's recruitment team participated in the University of Massachusetts Career Fair in September. We do have some plans to participate in some upcoming events in February. I believe they have a career fair and internship expo that we're scheduled to participate there with the teams. We've also looked at, we use a couple of tools to support our recruitment efforts, and Circa is one of them. And so we've added the Massachusetts Job Bank to that tool so that we can broaden our candidate outreach there as well. Annually, we have or support a employment engagement survey called Bally's Be Heard. And our survey ranked diversity and culture among the top 5 organizational strengths in the third quarter. And so we've taken some of those recommendations that come from that survey to continue to increase our efforts in diversity and inclusion. And also in the third quarter, we supported the Rhode Island Hispanic Chamber of Commerce Gala during Hispanic Heritage Month by hosting them at our Lincoln property in Rhode Island and contributing as a key sponsor. So most of our community impact in the third quarter supported our efforts in supplier diversity, which you will hear more from our Vice President of Global Procurement, Colin Bailey. Are there any questions?
I don't think so.
Great. Now we'll turn it over to Colin.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tracy, and thanks, Kim. Happy New Year. I think I can still do that. It's the first full week of January, so we're still saying it. So talking about vendor and supplier spend and supplier diversity, I think you just, as you can see from the grid, supplier diversity spend declined 1% in Q3 compared to Q2 to roughly 7.4 million. The spend base, as we've discussed before, has grown a lot from Q1 to Q2 as we pulled in all of our spend globally into our new ERP system, and in Q1 it just reflected North America. So it's kind of diluting some of the spend as the global requirements related to supplier diversity are vastly different compared to North America. But we continue to work with our partners and work with our main suppliers, like large suppliers, to tap into different programs and partnerships that allow us to pull in more diverse suppliers and diverse spend. And to that point, I think Tracy referenced it in her slide, we were very busy in Q3 into early Q4 with trips to the National Minority Supplier Development Conference in Florida, where we met with a ton of suppliers and really talked about partnerships and with our main big primes. We also attended the Greater New England annual conference for the National Minority Supply Development Council, met with Peter Hurst on different partners. He's the president of that organization, and talked to him about partnerships and even maybe doing some kind of educational upskilling programming that would be in partnership with Tracy and team. And we also attended a regional diverse business exhibit where we work with Peter and Michelle Mendez from the Massachusetts Supply Diversity Office to have a supply diversity panel. And I think the focus of that panel was supply diversity, but also talking about how regional players from Rhode Island, Connecticut, as well as Massachusetts can pull in some of the Massachusetts suppliers and use them to enhance their business offerings. So, you know, a lot more work to be done, but starting to build a lot of good connections and ideas related to initiatives we can do to drive the supply diversity spend. So I'll pause there and see if there are any questions.
Questions, commissioners? We're still saying Happy New Year too, so.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, I'll move on to slide number 5. Slide number 5 discusses our underage report metrics. Pursuant to our account registrations, we had only 1 underage registration attempt. We had 0 suspected underage use of account and 0 confirmed underage use of account. Next is Frank to discuss the following 2 slides.
Good morning, and thank you, Commission, for the opportunity to present in front of you all today. I am Frank, once again, the Director of Gaming Finance, and Responsible Gaming operationally falls my remit. What I'm proud to convey to the Commission today is an increase in usage of our Responsible Gaming tool available on the Bally's app site. We did see a slight decrease in the number of voluntary self-exclusion enrollments that occurred from 310 in Q2 down to 299 in Q3, which is a very slight decrease. However, we did see limits, deposit, wager, and spend limits increase categorically. And you can see those increases down towards the bottom of the slide. Does anyone in the Commission have any questions about this? Kim, I think we can move on. Next, on to our customer satisfaction survey, which is a continuously running survey that we initiate to customers at all times during the life cycle. What we can say is that satisfaction drops slightly across all categories except for ease of finding and understanding responsible gaming tools. The slight decrease is mostly 1% for responsible gaming, and I believe it was I feel safe and protected, while a 2 to 3% decrease in a range variety of responsible gaming tooling. And it was basically not from a shift in engagement, but more so a moving from the high ratings of 9 to 10 answered by our players into the low rating categories. I prepared a general synopsis of why I believe that has occurred. One, in Q3, we didn't have the same level of responsible gaming outreach programs as we had in Q2 as Responsible Gaming Month wrapped up and other items, and also due to some extended wait times in our customer service journey that resulted in a little bit longer than expected hold times for players, but still very manageable.
Thank you, Frank. Does anyone have any questions?
And you answered my questions, Frank, on the slight decrease.
I figured it was going to come up.
Okay, next we'll have David speaking to our Responsible Gaming Outreach.
Hi, thank you, members of the committee, Chairman, for having me present here for you. Couple of key things to touch on. The responsible gaming, as far as the hotline goes, which is obviously a very important resource throughout the entire country, is going through a what I like to call it an iconic name change, right? Gambler has been around forever, and as of September 30th, it got turned back over to New Jersey. So National is in the middle of trying to replace that number with something that is going to be branded and hopefully catchy, and ultimately replaces that that iconic number. Once that's done, then we'll get some marketing promo kits throughout, and we'll be able to advertise and really spread the word out to all of our customers who may need to use that particular resource. That's probably one of the bigger things that we've been keeping an eye on, especially. In addition to that, we partnered up with the national campaign. I know this isn't on the slides, but just a couple of extra tidbits here in their underage giving campaign that they ran. And we certainly sponsored it and helped spread the word on that, because it is very important that our youth and minor is equally protected as all the other demographics and people. And locally, we are at the infancy stage of trying to develop a curriculum in which targets local colleges and universities to go in and talk about gambling and the impacts on sports gambling in particular. So as that comes together and gets developed, we're really super excited, especially given the current climate in real estate within that particular area, of so many headlines being made in the media with what's happening in the sports world. So certainly more to come on that. I know that's brief, but certainly I'll take any questions if there are any. If not, I'll turn it back over to Kim.
Commissioners, questions? I'll ask one quick one. Mr. Susan, I want to ask this across the operators, but you brought it up first. Is this a significant challenge to rebrand this phone number, and is it creating a lot of edge for the operators? Because I see it at the regulatory side, but I've not really talked to any operators about it.
Yeah, so I think we all take pride in ownership of making sure that we get those resources out to the public, certainly. So I don't see it as something that should only fall on the state level, right? I think we as operators also have an equal responsibility to making sure we're doing our part in particular. it's like anything else that's been around for a long time, right? People understand brand, they understand loyalty, and that was a catchy number, right? Gambler, boom, something in the back of your head that you can easily remember and regurgitate back out if you someday need it. So the work is just simply going to be making sure that we get the right toolkits and being a part of the discussions with national operators are going to be able to tell them what they think, and who better to do that than the people at the front lines and in the trenches. So I think that in working with national, we're going to be able to put together a package that will circulate out to all the states as well as the operators, and then from there push it out, deploy it to the floor, deploy it to the the proper aids and visual aids that we have throughout the casino. So it's going to be a challenge only in the sense that it's something new, right? We're moving people's cheese, so to speak, when it comes to the actual number. So hopefully that kind of answers your questions. We're certainly the operators that are at the round table with national are going to make it as simple and as easily as possible to do this.
Thank you for that. That's appreciated.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
could you just elaborate a little bit more on what you're doing with your curriculum and getting into the young people? We're actually doing something similar here in Massachusetts and have been working on it for over a year now with our Attorney General's office, as well as many other partners that I won't get into today. But I would like to hear just a little bit more about what partnerships you've created with this, and your ultimate goals.
Yeah, so really quickly, right now, the concept started with John Sapola. I'm not sure if that rings a bell to anybody on this particular call, but John heads the Rhode Island Council on Problem Gambling, and John came to me back in November. And in complete transparency, I began my role in September. Prior to that, it was 23 years working for Bally's as the slot vice president on the east side. So this is certainly something new for me, but something that is exciting and challenging. And when John came to me, right, it was right around the same time that we were hearing how awful prop bets are and all of those other things that were impacting the sports world. And John said, what do you think about us creating a curriculum that allows us to go into the AD's office, to go into the, various schools and local universities and everything else, and really develop a curriculum that aims the young people to make sure that they are gambling responsibly and they're doing the right thing and they understand what's at stake if they don't do the right thing. And it's certainly at its infancy stage. John and I had a sit down one-on-one just maybe 2 weeks ago. And again, conceptually, I have a few ideas. John's got a few ideas, and we're going to paper it and ultimately share it with some of our college colleagues to get their input so that we can really shape it into the arena in which they'd like to see it come together. But again, I want to say it's certainly at its infancy stage. And as we progress further, I'll certainly be more than happy to share our milestones along the way with you.
I might suggest through you, Mr. Chairman, that you contact Marlene Warner, our Massachusetts person, because we are so far ahead right now with what we've been doing. I think we could give you some great ideas.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And maybe connect with other folks in Bally's, because I know that every operator got an invitation to the Attorney General's Youth Sports Wagering Initiative. So there's probably some work you're already doing in that regard.
Mr. Chairman, before we close on that, I'll only say this once, I won't say for every operator. In terms of connecting with colleges and universities in Massachusetts, we obviously have a large private college and university sector here in Mass. And there's a group called the Association of Independent Colleges and Universities of Massachusetts. They're essentially a trade organization for the privates. They've also been proactive in looking for partners in this space as well. I think you do well to connect with them, and we can help out with contact info if need be.
I truly appreciate that. Thank you. And I'll pass it along to John Sapolo as well. And I appreciate that. Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Thank you very much, Commission, for letting us present today to you and giving us this opportunity to explain our operations. And have a great day. I'll
Thank you,
stop
Kim.
sharing. Thank you.
Kim. We appreciate it. Thank you for entertaining our questions there at the end.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else, commissioners, before we move on? All right. Thank you to the Bally's team. I'm going to kick it back over to Tom Land.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you, Bally's. And the next presenters will be Sarah and her team for BetMGM.
Morning.
Hi again. My camera wouldn't turn on. Thank you. Happy New Year. Great to see you all. We are going to kick it off once Rich is able to share his screen. My name is Sarah Brennan. For those of you that I don't know, I'm the VP of Compliance for BetMGM. I'm joined today by Rich Taylor, Jasmine Polite, and I think we are the only presenters today. I'll kick off by going over our revenue. Pretty steady quarter over quarter. Not a huge discrepancy in Q3 over Q2. We can go into vendor utility. Slightly up in our diverse vendor spend, 1.6 million over about 800,000. 3.7 for the year. Diverse and small went up as well, and the other numbers fluctuated as expected. Really, there was some ownership transitions in some of our businesses, which caused the increase in Q3 for our WBE spend with a couple of the teams. The next slide just reflects the diverse vendor spend graphically. Again, went up in Q3, but pretty much in line with our expectations. I'm going to pass off to Jasmine, who will present on human resources.
Good morning, everyone. Let's go on to the next slide, Rich. Okay, so between Q2 and Q3, we didn't have much of a change in our overall head count. We had a decrease in Q3 by about 28 employees, but pretty much everything stayed consistent with a 1% drop in our overall women at the non-manager level, with a decrease of about 20 employees. Next slide. And this is just our breakdown, our overall representation of women overall and our women leaders, and then non-white employees overall and non-white leaders. And so you can see over the years that's stayed pretty consistent. And this is really what we look at to ensure that we aren't seeing any major gaps between representation of employees. Next slide. Okay, in Q3, we had some really exciting things happen. So we launched the official rebrand of the DEI team, and it's now known as Culture and Belonging. And this launch was company-wide, which included communicating who we are, how to partner with us, how, what we do as a function to support not only teams, but also our company and our strategy overall. And then there on our intranet is a library of resources and best practices that employees and leaders have access to. We also concluded our Take the Lead summer learning series for people leaders. And this included a series of workshops such as leading with empathy, inclusive leadership, unleashing your team's potential, and our overall rating for those people leaders who attended the series was 4.5 out of 5. And in total, about 89% of our overall people leader population has attended this series. So this is really exciting. Now we're thinking about what does stage 2 look like, the next step, so that all of our people leaders can continue learning. We also held our quarterly engagement session in Ontario with our Ontario employees, and this really focused on mental health and well-being. The session took place prior to the kickoff of our NFL season, and so we really wanted to reinforce self-care and just overall employee well-being before heading into one of our peak periods. Ahead of our performance review cycle, which took place in Q4, during Q3, we also worked with the talent management team to continue enhancing our performance management process. And so this included providing clarity around behavior expectations, increasing guidance on the situation, behavior, and impact framework we use when providing reviews and writing performance evaluations. And we also increased the activity and scenario-based learning activities that we held for people leaders in relation to performance management and how to write clearer reviews. And so what we saw this year is just much more engagement and learning from our people leaders, and it clicking a little bit more when it comes to writing strong evidence-based performance reviews. We also partnered with our talent acquisition team to integrate inclusive behaviors into our new hiring essentials workshop and guide. And this essentials workshop is really training for all hiring managers and interviewers on how to identify the role needs, how to write strong job descriptions, how to attract our top talent and conduct fair and consistent interviews. So this was a big body of work that was more than a year in the making. And we finally really wrapped that up and are now in the process of rolling that out. And then finally, we finalized the development of the executive leadership competencies for all of our VP Plus employees. So this is really meant to ensure that all employees at all levels understand what success in their role looks like, and providing clarity around each of our competencies and what we want to see based on the level of the employee. So a lot of great things happened in Q3. Any questions?
Questions, commissioners? Interesting, and thank you for walking us through that rebranding.
Mr. Chairman, just a brief question. Why the rebrand?
Yeah, great question. So this was really because we wanted to get clear on what this function does. And so, as you know, at the beginning of the year, there was a lot of noise, a lot of talk around DEI. And we wanted to, one, ensure we maintained our commitment to this work and to inclusion, but also wanted to get rid of some of that excess noise that was sort of clouding the overall true intention and the work of this team, and ensure that the way that we presented ourselves to the company was a way that resonated with employees and really helped them understand who we are and what we do. And so that was really the impetus behind the rebrand. And with this clarity, with this rebrand, it also brought clarity to the role and how we work together. And what we've started to see is now there is people really understand now what we do, how we do it. And it was just sort of also an exciting moment to reintroduce this team and this function to the company as well.
I appreciate the answer. As you know, it's a challenging time to be doing this work. The commission is 100% committed to it, as you know, and we appreciate the continued attention that you all are paying to this important work.
Thanks.
I think I'm up next. Good morning, Chair, Commissioners, and staff. For the record, Commissioner Hill, since bragging about how great the weather is out here in Las Vegas, it is now since started to pour down rain over by my house. So I'm glad I'm inside right now. But speaking on Q3, prohibited patrons, attempted access and access, again, similar numbers to Q2. We had 2 attempted underage registrations and 2 suspected use of accounts by underage in Massachusetts with 0 confirmed. Moving on to the next slide. Looking at our responsible gambling activities for the quarter, we saw notable increases in our deposit limits, as well as subtle increases in time and spend limits. This is likely attributed to the Responsible Gaming Education Month campaign work that we did throughout our platform, as well as externally via social media and other forms of outreach. We did see a slight decrease in the number of cool-offs, and self-exclusions remained relatively flat. I think you'll see some bigger numbers in Q4 when we report those out next quarter. And that will be due to the newly released Responsible Gaming Education commercial that features NHL superstar Connor McDavid and BetMGM brand ambassador. With this new ad, we're really highlighting our encouragement for our players and for the public to really use mindfulness and be self-aware when they gamble. And the catchphrase of this campaign is mullet over, and we're using the hockey hair of mullets to help create some resonant content and really make responsible gaming something that's fun and engaging, and hopefully and most importantly something that people will actually want to use and use our platform tools. So I'm very excited about this campaign. You may see it during Bruins games out there in Boston and throughout the Commonwealth. We're certainly playing it a lot throughout Canada and other states as well. So hopefully that leads to more uptick in our responsible gaming tools, and we'll be sure to report that out during the next quarterly reporting. Next slide. Here's just the additional cool-off data that showed that slight dip in Q3. Interestingly, we did see a drop in average days in cool-off. I'm not sure how we attribute that just yet. I don't have any data to support why the number went from 112 to 92, but it is a notable decrease in terms of average days of being on cool-off. So that's something that I think we're going to go back and look at and see in the next quarter if that trend continues, what's driving that decreased amount of days. Next slide. So as I mentioned, September was Responsible Gaming Education Month, and BetMGM was once again proud to support the American Gaming Association's efforts to help raise awareness about responsible gaming and encourage anyone who bets to do so in a responsible manner. We did that through a variety of initiatives. We partnered with our parent company, MGM Resorts, to put out a joint press release celebrating the month and highlighting our activities on LinkedIn and other social media channels. We had quotes and posts, really telling people that responsible gaming is for everyone, and we want them to look at our GameSense information, and we want them to use GameSense and our responsible gaming tools. We also had some in-app and website banners that were updated to reflect the campaign. So throughout the year, while we may promote GameSense in these banners during the month of September, in addition to promoting GameSense, we also promoted Responsible Gaming Education Month and the importance of playing smart from the start. Finally, we brought Epic Global Solutions, and I want to take a moment to reflect on our partnership with Epic Global Solutions. We've been working with them since 2021. I like to say before responsible gaming was a big deal, although to me it's always been a big deal. And they continue to bring significant value to our organization by sharing their stories of lived experience and what they experienced with their own gambling addiction, and certainly, and most importantly, what their families also experienced through gambling addiction. And this really gives our employees that opportunity to learn firsthand about those struggles. And I think that helps orient them within their job duties to ensure that they're always looking at things with a responsible gaming lens. And that's been the goal of mine from the very beginning with this program. And I'm very excited that we continue to see some success, and it's translating into real world benefits for not only our employees, but for our customers as well. Next slide. I had the privilege of attending the National Council on Problem Gambling's conference in July. Many of you, I think, were out there and were able to attend as well. It's been an interesting year for the NCPG, and you may have seen on LinkedIn that the new executive director has been announced. So I was part of that committee that helped to select this executive director, and I'm very excited about the future of the organization and working with them and continue to be a member of the NCPG. I think now more than ever, their work is continuously important, and BetMGM is fully supportive of the NCPG's efforts to support and raise awareness for problem gambling resources, treatment, awareness, in other areas as well. Next slide. The BetMGM VIP quarterly responsible gambling training refresher. So I believe a couple of meetings ago, I mentioned that we had begun to do quarterly trainings with our entire VIP team. This is very important to us, given their relationship with these players. And this past quarter, we had 179 VIP employees attend the training, which is led by my team. We spend about an hour to an hour and a half with them going over not only the responsible gambling 101 information, but also real world situations that occur through news articles and other sources. And then we spend some time doing role-playing exercises to gauge their ability to determine if somebody's comments or behavior is starting to get into that area where it needs to be escalated to my team for further review and possible action. These trainings are very important to the company, and they're very important to the VIP hosts. I think one of the things that I'm very delighted about is how well they've received this training and their input during the trainings themselves. They give great examples of interactions with their players, and that helps us refine our training and refine our reviews. So it's a great collaborative effort between VIP and RG, and I'm very delighted and blessed to work with a VIP team that feels so strongly about responsible gambling. So we'll continue to do these trainings and work together with that team to ensure that they're able to deliver the best customer experience and care to their players. In addition to the all hands Epic Global Solution sessions that we hosted in September, we also did our Epic Global Solutions Masterclass sessions. So we brought in our key supervisors from our VIP team, our risk and fraud team, our customer service team, and we spent a good 2 days going over responsible gambling and the work that they need to do in their roles to help support their employees and help support their customers. So beyond just the hour session that we provided through the lived experience group to all of our employees, we're also giving our employees in these frontline roles opportunity to spend some real time with the Epic Global Solution staff to help hone their abilities to detect problem gambling through communication and behavior so that we can escalate those matters to the RG team sooner rather than later so that we can provide them with help and assistance. And speaking of help and assistance, Chair, I know you're going to ask me the question about the 1-800-GAMBLER and the national helpline number issue. And I would just say this, and I've been beating this drum since 2017 when I first started in the responsible gaming space. When I need help or when my family needs help in an emergency situation, we know that in the United States, we can call 911 and that help will get to us. When it comes to problem gambling, unfortunately, it isn't like that. There are multiple numbers in multiple jurisdictions. And from our perspective, and from my perspective, I think we all need to work collaboratively to get to a place where we can have one number and one resource for everyone throughout the country so that when they are in trouble, they can call that number and know that they're going to get the help and care that they so desperately need in that moment. And I think that's the position of most operators as well. So we're here, we're willing to do the work. And I know through ROGA and other organizations, we also stand ready to help and do the work, but it's going to take a huge effort and a lot of collaboration across a lot of stakeholders to get to that ultimate solution of having one resource across the entire country for those who are in the struggles of gambling addiction and problem gambling harm.
Thank you, Rich. I actually won't ask that of every operator, but I'll give every operator an opportunity to address it if they want. Of course, we have the 50/50 number here in Massachusetts that's required by statute. That said, the 1-800-GAMBLER used to have a phone tree, and not to go too far into it, we also have a legal requirement to maintain a BSD phone number and access to that. So I've alluded to it. I've tried not to step in it, as they would say, but we're also seeing the issue here too. So thank you for addressing that. Let me ask one question of you, Rich.
Sure.
On that cool-off period, I just want to make sure that there was no software change or any friction created in that period. It was just a natural decrease.
Yeah, it is actually quite the opposite. We were promoting the cool off tool significantly more during Responsible Gaming Education Month. We haven't changed our platform or the player journey to get into a cool off. So it's a real anomaly right now, and I don't understand why that number decreased. But we're continuing to monitor it, and certainly when we see the new quarterly numbers for the next meeting, we'll be able to see the quarter over quarter change, and it'll be interesting to see. Typically around Q4, you see more tool usage because of the holidays and people running up against being able to buy presents and gifts and those types of things. And so they do the responsible thing and they put themselves on lower limits, or they go on cool off so that they can, fund those other items that they need to pay for. But we'll see if that remains true in Q4 here with 2025. And I'll be very interested to see those numbers when we get them.
Well, as someone who unironically wore a mullet in the 90s, I can tell you that maybe the mullet over will help push those numbers.
I hope so. We spent a lot of time, energy, and money on it. So let's hope it gives us some good results.
Thank you. Commissioner Broder, do you have a question? I see your.
I do, and a comment. Yeah, another hair thing. The mullet thing, quite frankly, does nothing for me. You can take that up offline, perhaps. But seriously, I mean, the Connor McDavid piece really deserves kudos, because Connor McDavid, I think most of us know, particularly in hockey Boston, he's not just some player. He's the best player in the league. I happened to be at a game, maybe a month ago, short-handed goal. As soon as the puck hit his stick, you're like, he's going to score. That is terrific. It's great for that sector, and to have someone that prominent. What about the other leagues? I mean, I assume the NFL is the big player in terms of this. How do you get these? How do you get more buy-in from those kind of prominent folks?
I think the best way to get buy-in for anything is success. And so we did see a significant uptick in our responsible gambling tool usage when we did our first Connor McDavid ad, which we debuted in 2024. I imagine we're going to see a similar effect here with Mull It Over. And with that success, hopefully, will come an opportunity and really a duty and a responsibility on our part to ensure that people hear that story and understand those results. And so I'm working very closely with our marketing team to make sure that we're capturing how we're using this ad, where we're using this ad, and then we're looking at the results from the responsible gambling tool usage, as well as the page visits to our GameSense page. And that will give us a good idea of the effectiveness of this ad. And once we know that, then it's on us and our PR teams to go and share the good word, not only with you all, our regulators, but also the general public, and most importantly, other stakeholders who may be thinking about getting involved in this space, because we certainly would welcome the opportunity to work with other leagues and influencers and others who want to help promote responsible gambling, just like Connor McDavid has. He's been a tremendous ambassador for us, and having been on the set when we filmed this commercial, I guess I can call myself an on-set consultant. This is really important to him, and important for his brand and important for his reputation. And he wanted to work with an operator that felt that responsible gambling was important, so that he could use his voice and his image to help promote a very important aspect of our industry and what we're doing. So very proud of this work. And to your question, I don't want to give anything away, but certainly our creatives and our marketing teams, now that we've put this together and we're starting to see some good results and good response, this won't be the end of our ability to promote responsible gambling in fun and exciting ways with cool ambassadors.
Well, good on you, and good on Connor McDavid, and perhaps the NHLPA for getting involved. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Hey, I'll wrap us up. If you can go to I think it's 2 slides forward. Thanks. So during Q3, Jersey City has their annual Jersey City Pride Parade, and our Pride ERG participated in that. We held a paint and sip event at our office before folks headed over to the Pride Parade. We also held a joint networking mixer at our Jersey City office with Global Gaming Women, an organization that works with women in the gaming industry. And we welcomed not only our own employees, but women across the industry. We had some folks from FanDuel, from DraftKings, and other places. So it was a really wonderful time to meet peers in the industry as well. And this was also co-hosted by our Women at BetMGM ERG. For Hispanic Heritage Month, our Unidos ERG held an in-office event, and they also attended the Broadway show Buena Vista Social Club and held a Q&A with the show's actors. And then finally, for 9/11 Remembrance, we joined one of our NFL partners, the Philadelphia Eagles, to pack care packages for military members and first responders. And this event was actually, again, hosted by our Bet on Vets ERG. And I think that's it. Any questions?
Questions, commissioners?
Great.
All right. Thank you so much, Jasmine. Thank you to the entire team. Thank you, Sarah. Rich.
Thank
Right.
you.
We're going to kick it back over to Tom. Thank you, Sarah. Have a good day.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, BetMGM. And to kick off the next presentation is going to be Lisa and her team from Caesars Sportsbook.
Actually, Tom, it's going to be me that quarterback this for Caesars, but thank you for the intro and good morning, commissioners. And thank you for the opportunity to present our Q3 quarterly report today. Well, first, are you guys able to see my screen? Just want to confirm here.
Yes.
Yep, we got it.
Very good. Thank you. For today's presentation on this slide is the Caesars team. And as always, Kirsten, Lisa, Dave, Greg, Caroline, and I will present and address any questions the commission may have for our presentation. To start, I thought we'd try a year-over-year comparison instead of a quarter-over-quarter as we've done in previous presentations. Reason being, the major sports leagues like your NFL, baseball, NBA, they occur at various points throughout the year, which kind of affects the ups and downs of revenue. So it seems better to review with the commission what's happening at the same point year over year versus quarter over quarter. But again, trying a different analysis this time around. But if you guys prefer quarter over quarter, we can certainly revert back to that. So with that, looking at year over year on this slide, we are fairly balanced. We see some swings between months, but revenue and handle overall performed favorably. We had a great Q3 for sure, and we look forward to keeping that momentum going into Q4. So with that, are there any questions on this slide before we proceed?
Any questions for Curtis? Hearing none.
Okay. We'll turn it over to Greg to discuss workforce diversity.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Curtis. And good morning and Happy New Year to the Commission and Commissioners. I'm going to start by showing our workforce diversity numbers for our digital sportsbook business. And so on this first slide, I'll highlight just a few of the areas, a few of the categories. And then on the following slide, you'll see a graph to kind of represent the quarter over quarter comparisons. So in reference to people of color in our digital business, our senior leadership represents about 21%, or 21% minority representation, followed by our managers and supervisor level representing 37%, with a total overall representation of 35%. Then for our women representation, we have roughly 12% representation in senior leadership, 25% in manager or supervisor level, and then the overall representation is roughly 25%. For veterans, we have a 5% representation in senior leadership with the overall representation of 2%. And then to kind of round up these numbers here, our Massachusetts employee representation has remained at 5 total. And that's even though we don't have a physical location in Massachusetts. So our overall total employee for the digital business is 1,432. And so if you'll go to the next slide, please. Here you'll see a graph of quarter over quarter, and there essentially has not been any change of note. Okay, if you'll go to the next slide, please. All right, perfect. So for our Q3 reporting, we're going to shift gears just a bit from our usual people-focused updates to highlight our ESG efforts, specifically the goals and initiatives that we're proud to be advancing in sustainability. And then in our next quarterly meeting, we're going to go back to the people initiatives and do a wrap-up for 2025. So on our sustainability, our sustainability is integrated into our People, Planet, Play framework, which we've referenced before. And our focus areas include emission reduction, waste diversion, and water conservation. And these initiatives are impacted through operation improvements, capital enhancements, and significant involvement of our team members through our Code Green initiatives, which I'll mention here in just a few minutes. But just to explain some of our goals real quick, for emissions, we have set a long-term goal of 46.2% reduction in both Scope 1 and 2 emissions by 2023, with a net zero by 2050. And as of 2024, we have achieved a 20.3 reduction compared to our 2019 baseline. For our Scope 3 emissions, the target is 37.5 reduction by 2035, and we're currently at 16% compared to 2022. And then waste diversion is another high priority for us with a goal of 65% by 2030, and we're currently at 41% today. And the last thing I'll mention here is the water intensity reduction target at 20% by 2035. And so far, we have made a 5% improvement. All right, if you'll go to the next slide, please. All right, to support these goals, we run and have recently enhanced the Code Green program, which I briefly referenced a minute ago. And this is a program designed to involve team members, our guests, and all of them helping to reduce energy, water, and waste. And we are heavily focused on opportunities for our team members as a part of our team member engagement. And so upon our completion and wrap up for 2025, we look forward to in our future presentation to demonstrate our overall 2025 impact. And then that'll of course be in our CSR report, which is expected to be published in June. So mentioning some of these activities, other activities include that we do for our team members. It includes quarterly educational campaigns, resources that's on our internal intranet platform, which we refer to as EmpireWire, and then local volunteer events throughout our entire network. And these volunteerism programs are orchestrated through our HERO program or our volunteer program. And then we also do this through our partnership with organizations such as the Arbor Day Foundation and the WASH Foundation. So we will be sharing these updates in our CSR report, but for 2026 Code Green campaign, we have a very robust and solid roadmap to focus on areas for team members that include activities, education, communications, marketing, and incentives. And we really do believe that our team members will have the greatest impact for us to achieve a lot of these goals. All right, next slide, please. Thank you. So operationally, as I mentioned, we've implemented several initiatives across the properties. Solar power projects are in place in Harrah's and Caesars Atlantic City and Cedars Forum in Las Vegas, along with some offsite green energy agreements. We've also installed 250 EV charging ports at 15 properties with plans to reach 300 by the end of 2025. Nearly 26,000 smart thermostats have been deployed to improve energy efficiency. Water conservation measures include low flow fixtures, drought tolerant landscaping, towel reuse programs, and leak detection technology. And then for waste reduction, we're improving our recycling processes and addressing challenging items like cigarette butts, cooking oil, and piloting a food waste reduction through better purchasing and preparation packages. So these efforts are our approach to sustainability as an ongoing operational priority with measurable progress and clear targets for the future. So that concludes my portion for the corporate social responsibility and our ESG initiatives. And I'll see if there are any questions. If not, I'll turn over to Dave for the next section.
Greg, I'll just say, you addressed it. I was wondering if you're holding vendors to the same standard, and it sounds like, yeah, you are, and you're looking for the types of vendors too. So great work there.
Yep. Thank you.
Questions, commissioners?
Quick one, I think, but a broad one. You know, what's a nice way to say this? The incentive landscape for investing in green tech is changing dramatically. Do you anticipate being able to maintain this kind of programming and progress in your environmental efforts?
So this is not my specialty area, but based on the conversations and meetings we're in, we still stand pretty solid with the goals that we set, and we don't see anything that's going to highly impact that in a negative way.
Yeah, and I'll jump in here too. So we're obviously monitoring what the incentives for the environmental work that we're doing. And, you know, we make decisions based on what's best for the business as well. And so as we continue into 2026, hopefully we'll have some more updates in terms of some of our environmental projects, but we are monitoring what's going on externally.
You have to. Appreciate the answer.
Yeah, and I'll just throw something into the waste reduction. On the F&B side, we implemented a program within the Las Vegas region where we saw a approximately 20 to 25% reduction in prior oil usage, which helps us all out. So just real quick on that. So thank you.
I appreciate it.
Next slide, please. Okay, so as usual, these are the results for our statistics for Q3 of 2025. They are not completely audited and validated, although they're going to be really close. As you can see in Q3 of 25, our engagement spend outperformed the previous 3 quarters, and our percentage of diverse spend, it was 11.04 company-wide as compared to 10.83 the previous quarter. And again, third quarter outperformed the previous 3 quarters. Of highlight, which when we pulled this data, I was pleasantly surprised and pleased to see that our continued focus on the improvement of diverse spend out of the state, where we do not, as Greg mentioned, have a physical presence. We struggled, obviously, because a lot of that is controlled out of a different state, different regulations, things like that. But we were able to, through utilizing our regional procurement process and organization, we were able to spend approximately $8,298,000 out of the state. And of that, 8.2 million, approximately 216,000 or 2.61% was with a diverse supplier. So that's That's quite an improvement over the last couple quarters. I apologize, I don't have the other percentages, but I can tell you that they hovered slightly below 1% in previous quarters. So any questions on any of that?
Hearing none.
Thank you.
Okay, jumping back in here for responsible, play management reporting. Here's our Q3 2024 versus Q3 2025 for the top use RG limitations. So on this slide, a few things to note. Number of accounts registered and RG programs have increased slightly year over year. Big increase in numbers too between Q3 2024 and 2025 of those patrons clicking the RG resource page using cool off and the wager and deposit limitation numbers. And we attribute that increase to the patrons' continued usage of our resource tools throughout their platform experience. So we're very pleased at how patrons are responding to our tools, and will continue to provide additional insight on any trends or any information we analyze throughout the year. Any questions on this slide? Okay, moving on. For prohibited player monitoring, in summary, we have 6 accounts in Q3 that were flagged by the system, which resulted in a detailed investigation. And upon that review, all 6 of those accounts were closed as a result of suspecting an underage person was controlling the account. Okay.
Any questions, Commissioner?
Okay, I'll turn it over to Caroline to discuss responsible gaming.
All right, thanks, Curtis. Well, good morning, and I'd like to also say Happy New Year, Chairman Maynard, Commissioner, staff, and fellow operators. So let's hit RG. As you can see here for mass VEPs, as Curtis has shown, year over year for Q3. Q3 of 2024, there were 7 mass VEPs compared to Q3 2025, which we identified there were 124. Which has increased to 61%, which is great, not to take away from the business, but it actually helps us see that our online customers in Massachusetts who identify with having a gambling problem are making that intentional decision to utilize the self-exclusion program that the state offers. So great number here. Next slide. For RG Ed Month, we had quite a busy month, which is always great. We created a company-wide RG Ed Month toolkit, which included back of house signage, flyers. We also provided outdoor marquee messaging for properties that do have this tool. Every year we do a team member engagement quiz, 5 questions, just to ensure, hey, top of mind, we're following our policies, our procedures, which we have in place that our regulators are aware of. We also incorporated social media posts. We did RG message tiles and banners on our sports wagering and iCasino apps. We did RG ambassador spotlights. We had 3 RG ambassadors who were spotlighted. And these are RG ambassadors who have been with the company for over a decade. So it was great to have them talk about their experiences, but attesting to and providing testimony that our RG Ambassador program is great to have on the gaming floor, and they are there for our customers, whether it be in person or online, to provide the help resources needed. We also have an in-house newsletter called Empire Wire for our team members. Team member events, were held back of house at Caesars Properties, which we showcased, which is great because what the back of house event does is it allows our external responsible gaming community stakeholders to come and talk to our team members in person and, just educate them on the help resources that are available, not only for our team members, but for the community and the customers that they engage with. In 2025, we had our first ever front of house customer facing event that was held at our El Dorado Scioto Downs property in Ohio. The event was well received by our customers. They were quite surprised, but they were happy to see our community partners such as the Problem Gambling Network of Ohio there. Ohio Lottery was there, Mary Haven, who provides treatment support, the Center for Addiction Treatment, Ohio Guidestone, and the Problem Gambling Coalition in Ohio. So as you can see, there's a photo to the very left. They're, happily up front, front of house. And we're actually going to target, our Scioto Downs team will target doing this event again this year. We also had some great donations made, as you can see with the two photos, at our properties in Cherokee and in New Orleans. The donations, I do want to emphasize, are actually forfeited wagers. So when we identify someone who is actively excluded on the floor that hits a jackpot, when regulations permit, these wagers are forfeited. We keep it in a safekeeping account and we donate it out either on a quarterly basis or an annual basis. So we had significant donations this year, which we're proud of, to provide to our local councils or our treatment provider in CORE, who is in Louisiana. We also did an in-person event, which was held at the corporate and Caesars digital office, which we will accomplish or try to do again this year, which was well received as well. So that's always great. So again, donations to RG organizations, which we continuously do during, Problem Gambling Awareness Month or RG Ed Month, Louisiana Association of Compulsive Gambling, the North Carolina Council on Problem Gambling, and the South Virginia Problem Gambling Coalition. Okay. Also in September, we did participate, in July and September, we sponsored and participated with RG conferences. Of course, the National Conference on Gambling Addiction and Responsible Gambling. We were also the exclusive sponsor for the National Council Summit on Sports Betting and College Students. So we'll go ahead and do that again this year, which was we did it in 2024, which was an inaugural summit. And last year we had great participation. So hoping to see the increase in participation for this summit, which is usually held before the main event. And in New Jersey, we always participate with their statewide conference in September, which is held during RG Ed Month. And we also did a recommitment to the New Jersey Council for our membership, which is always top of mind as we have a nice footprint in the state of New Jersey. Next slide. All right, responsible gaming surveys that we did. So in 2024, we did collaborate with the Mass Gaming Commission and the Mass Gaming and Health Council. We did a survey. And then in 2025, we did the RG Ed Month Sports Wagering Quiz activity. So the quiz purpose was to help sharpen the players' understanding of the sports wagering rules while keeping the activity enjoyable, which is always the goal, right? There were 5 questions. We delivered the quiz to 7,022 active accounts, which we identified for the last 90 days of active accounts via email, and 1,737 emails were opened by our customers. I do want to address as well, Chairman Maynard, the national helpline change. It was a challenge for us as a company because it's not only, changing a number in one area, we have a constellation of marketing materials that we place the number on. It's on our social media, it's on our marketing campaigns, national and local, there were 2 jurisdictions that got wind of the issue or the concern with the 1-800-GAMBLER number, and they just decided to revert back to their state jurisdiction helpline number. So we're constantly updating our marketing materials to ensure that we have the regulated and acceptable national helpline number. And when a jurisdiction tells us we're no longer going to use the national number, we don't want to get into, the concerns of not having this number available or not having the number answered. So we're reverting back to our helpline number that the state approved and is written in law. So Louisiana recently did that, and now we're looking at another state, that is looking to update the number. And sometimes we don't have much time, to update the number in the state, but we try to, just work with the jurisdiction because it's regulated. We have to do it. So there's a lot of ongoing communication between the corporate office, the regulators, and the operators so that we are all aligned with what we're showing public facing. So I wanted to just provide that input there.
So Caroline, can I ask a common sense question here? Does that mean that on national advertisements, you're going to be adding phone numbers to what's on the bottom already?
Yes. And just keep in mind, we operate in nearly 30 jurisdictions. So every time there's an update and we have a universal responsible gaming tagline, that tagline has to be updated if the state is telling us, this is the new number, update your tagline. So we have to get it out to our marketers and make sure we're all in compliance with what that state wants to see.
Oh boy. All right.
Yeah. It is a challenge, but we get it done, and our team members understand the importance and the regulatory requirements that we need to adhere to.
I'm worried about the patrons, but I hear what you're saying.
Yes.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. You're welcome. All right. Other than that, I'll be carrying my holy water for Monday, and I hope everyone else will too. Little reference to my team, who shall be unnamed.
Good morning, Chair, Commissioners, Commission staff. Last slide of our presentation is related to our lottery engagement. We continued our partnership with the Massachusetts Lottery in Q3. We promoted the Multiply Your Money instant ticket promotions. That launched in June and continued through September of 2025. We did continue this partnership in Q4 2025. We'll be sure to share that promotion in our Q4 presentation. And with that, I open it up to any other questions.
Question? Lisa, I think we're good.
All right. Thank you, Chair. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you very much.
Have a good day.
Oh, we appreciate it as always. All right. With that, we are going to kick it back over to Tom. Thank you again to the team.
Thank you, Curtis. Thank you, Lisa. Thank you, Caesars, for your presentation. And the next operators presenting will be David and his team from DraftKings.
Great. Thank you, Tom. And just bear with me one moment while I'm trying to share my screen and I'm being asked to update my system settings here.
I get them sometimes.
David, do you want me to go ahead and share?
Yeah, if you can, Julie, that would be great.
You got it.
All right. Well, thank you. And while Julie shares, I can kick off. But good morning, and thank you to the Commission for the opportunity to present our quarterly update today. For those of you who haven't had an opportunity to meet, my name is David Foppert, Vice President in our Global Compliance and Risk Organization. Excited to be here, and I'm joined by Christina Akis, our Vice President in Inclusion, Equity, and Belonging, Julie Hines, Director of Responsible Gaming, and Jared Hess, Director of Communications. So to start, we'll be covering our revenue for the Q3 of 2025. It's a relatively straightforward slide. Julie, if you show the next slide, you'll see the most notable item on here would be consistent revenue month over month. And for Q3, the sports wagering taxes collected by the Commonwealth from DraftKings was a little bit north of $15.8 million. Next, I will hand it over to Christina to discuss workforce diversity and vendor.
Hello and happy new year. You can advance to the next slide, Julie. Thank you. So for workforce diversity, we're really just seeing very minimal shifts. For a majority, our representation over quarter has been flat. We had a slight uptick with US-based non-white leadership compared to last quarter, just about a 0.5 percentage point. But we continue to work with our acquisition teams, recruitment teams to ensure that we are diversifying that pipeline. We actually have been heavily present with a few partnerships within the US to help advance the diversification of the pipelines, including conferences like Render and a partnership with the Thurgood Marshall College Fund that will be really helping us this year identify some great early pipeline talent. Next slide. So for some of our workforce connections, in Q3, we had our annual New York Tri-State Summer Soiree. It was really great this year because we've had a few mergers and acquisitions come in and a few new employees in that area. So it was really great to get a group of these employees who are primarily working remote together in person. We actually started that day more with roundtable discussions to ensure that folks in this region still have that sense of belonging to DraftKings, even though they are not necessarily in our headquarter offices, and really just a great time for them to then connect, build relationships with their partnerships. And then we had our DK Circles. So this year we launched our global mentorship program called DK Circles. And in Q3, we actually held some specialized sessions called Knowledge and Networking that really allows employees to share their first-person experiences and allow other employees to kind of learn from those experiences. But I think the best thing that comes out of these efforts and these sessions is actually how much it helps us as leaders and even the HR team understand where we can improve our people processes to ensure that from day one, when folks come in, they have that sense of belonging and again, have what they need to be successful here. So in particular for Q3, these DK Circle sessions were about employees who joined through the M&A process and really wanted to understand their integration experiences and then strengthen connections while they're here. So that was a lot of what we've done through our Q3 efforts from a connection standpoint. Next slide, Jim. And then connections and development. So this year we launched our first Global Women's Summit. So historically, what we had done was actually had women's summits at the function level. So like for our product and tech team, for our FP&A team, and marketing, et cetera. So this year, what we wanted to do was actually bring everyone together. So we actually hosted a 2-day Global Women's Summit in Boston at our partner's office, the AWS office. We had amazing speakers, great discussions, and I think the most powerful part of the 2-day program. So day one was really just general programming, and day two, we focused on really that leadership piece. But what was really great about this was that it truly was global. So even our employees that were not in the Boston office or who did not travel to the Boston office, you were able to access everything via Zoom. But we actually had folks getting together within their remote location. So if we have a handful of employees in Atlanta or Denver or Houston, they would actually get together to watch and participate with the summit. Even some of our global offices, so our Bulgaria office, we had speakers that really resonated with that employee base as well. So we really just wanted to be truly inclusive and ensure that not only our speakers, but the content is resonating with our employees no matter where they sat. So it had a really, really great turnout. A lot of great male leaders and allies are there as well, which really helps. We had a session specifically on how to show up as an ally, how to support women on your team. So, continuing to ensure that our programming is accessible, but also helpful to everyone who is able to attend. And our next slide. So we had a really great partnership with our responsible gaming team. So the HBCU Classic was hosted for the first time here in Boston, and we had the great honor of sponsoring the welcome reception. So we had about 400 guests come and really not only just welcome them to this amazing event that was happening here, but also we were able to strengthen some of our responsible gaming forum, education, etc. So we had remarks from our Chief Responsible Gaming Officer, Lori Polani, as well as the presidents of Morehouse College and Johnson C. Smith University. So again, really just a nod to not only, that showing up in the community as DraftKings, but ensuring that our messaging around responsible gaming as well is touted wherever we're showing up. So it was a really great event. The team did a great job. We got great support from folks in the community as well. Next slide. So vendor, supplier spend, and supplier diversity. Quarter over quarter, I'll just talk again, kind of small upticks, but currently for Q3, we're at about 0.3% of diversity spend. Within mass for year to date, we're at about 0.1%. So the good thing here is that we have actually hired a new leader within our procurement team. He does not know how much I'm about to be on his calendar. He's expecting it, but I don't think he truly knows. I've stalked him on LinkedIn enough to know that he is going to be a great partner in this space and ensuring that we're really just making more intentional efforts here. Really looking forward to his proper onboarding and us being to collaborate and just have more programming and more just policies that allow us to do better within the supplier diversity space. And that's it from my end.
Thank you, Christina.
Thank you.
Thanks, Christina. So it's always a tough position to go in between Christina, who always has such great updates, and then Julie's up next talking about all the great work Responsible Gaming's doing, but I will give it my best shot here. So as you can see on this slide, I wanted to highlight our underage and minor access metrics for Q3. Most notably is the jump in underage registration attempts between August and September. I would share for the commission that this is in line and commensurate with overall kind of active growth that we see leading into the NFL season for all customers, which we attribute to why we see that jump from 403 in August to 808 in September. And for suspected underage use of account, relatively consistent month over month. And for confirmed underage use of account, we had 2 instances, one in August and one in September. I would also note that I know DraftKings and I personally continue to engage with the MGC around the underage processes we have in place, including detection, the modeling we use to identify these activities, as well as continuing to do analysis to ground, what is driving this, and sharing our results and how we are able to identify and ultimately report on these events.
Thank you, David. Commissioners, questions? I'll just say that this reiterates the work we're doing around early intervention. We got to figure this out because this isn't getting any better, it's getting worse.
Noted. And looking forward to continuing to work with the MGC on our findings and analysis, and want to be good partners in this space. That said, and maybe a good entryway into responsible gaming, I will hand it over to Julie.
Thanks so much, Dave. And thank you, Chair, Commissioners, staff, and guests. It's nice to see you again in the new year. So for responsible gaming, we did have 720 BSE registrants in Q3, which is an uptick. We expect that due to the nature of the NFL season and the uptick generally speaking. And with relation to limits, we do see, because of the nature of people onboarding with DraftKings during the NFL season, we will see a slight decrease in the limits overall. That's just because the denominator changes. However, that being said, year over year, we continue to be elevated on our responsible gaming limits uptake, as well as our other resources, which I will share shortly. For the Responsible Gaming Center, we continue to iterate. We continue to add features to our resources to better educate our customer base and have them make more informed choices with relation to our products. And so, as you can see here, we have added some new relevant tools for our customer base. So we want them to understand what they're doing when they're engaging with sports betting in the Commonwealth. We also do, for our casino states, also have the how to play casino game so that people know what the rules, odds of the game are. And we have added a new page called Smart Betting Tips, which really engages people, invites them to participate in the tools, normalizes the use of such tools. And really, you know, we want people, again, to be informed. We want them to know what they're doing before they're doing it, especially, as we said, NFL season, we have some new players, new customers who are engaging with our products for the first time. And so we want them to understand what they're doing as they're engaging with our games. Bankroll basics. So another thing that's common now in the responsible gaming sphere is to understand better about units of spend. And so we have done more to educate our customer base around that so that they can better understand their overall budget and how they want to use their discretionary spends with us on DraftKings. Another thing that we've been happy to support is the Code of Responsible Play. We want all of our customers to be aware of what our expectations for our customers are. Of course, we want them to have fun above all. We want things for them to stay sharp when they're playing, respect the game and everyone in it. Respecting the game and everyone in it is a key feature. And we know that in our space, we've heard of a lot of bullying and harassment of athletes. We make it very clear at DraftKings, and it is a little bit tangential to responsible gaming, but it is, of course, something that's related. And we want our customers to know that our community overall includes customers, fans, athletes, creators, everyone here at DraftKings, and there's no place for hate, harassment, or toxic behavior. So we want to set up that expectation with the Code of Responsible Play, and we've added that as well to our Responsible Gaming Center. The last thing that we added in Q3 was eVive. It's another tool for digital support for customers who want to either keep their play responsible, maybe manage their play to reduce their play, or overall end their play. And so there's three methods of which eVive operates. eVive, the digital support that we partnered with, has an app. It is free. It is something that anybody can add to any tool device that they have and engage with it as much or as little as they want. And so we have partnered with Sam DeMello, who's actually based in Beverly, to start this up. Our main principle here is to offer as many tools as for people that make the most sense to them. And so that's what we've done with eVive and adding that to our suite of features. As far as Responsible Gaming Education Month, some of our fellow operators have also discussed their initiatives, and it was really great to continue to partner with our other operators in this space during the month of September, even though it is a very busy month, as we all know. We had a bunch of media interviews. We offered a variety of tool giveaways, and I'll share that in just a moment, with our NFL ticket giveaway, increased amount of talent and influencer messaging, sports partnership messaging with UFC and NASCAR, and then added buys for the gambler ad, which we have shared with you all, and a nod to Rich Taylor and the Mull It Over campaign. It's a great one, so I'm with you on that, Sheriff Maynard. As far as internally, we continue to make an effort internally to our thousands of employees to make sure that responsible gaming is baked into everything we do. And so we did have a global all hands meeting, our responsible gaming segment with our Chief Responsible Gaming Officer, Lori Kalani. She also hosted a fireside chat with former NFL legend and great partner, Larry Fitzgerald. We had a signage in the offices throughout the employee channels on Slack and our intranet, et cetera. And then in office, Responsible Gaming Center, our physical center visits. And thank you to Chair Maynard and Commissioner Hill for being a part of that. We really appreciate you joining us, and all commissioners are welcome. And Commissioner Hill, O'Brien, I hope that you're healing up well from that time then. For the RG incentivization, I did allude to this a little bit. So our promotion was and continues to be to normalize the use of responsible gaming tools. I think that probably doesn't need to be said at this point. We continue to talk about stigma. And so for this is what we really try to do is incentivize with the use of some type of promotion. And so for the September, the month of Responsible Gaming Education Month, we offered 4 weeks of promotions. The first 3 weeks were 2 NFL tickets to any regular season game of the winner's choice. And the fourth was the 2 tickets to the Super Bowl and accommodations. And so we had different drivers and different mechanics for each week to engage those who wanted to participate in this and opt into our giveaway. And we are delighted to say that our winner of 2 NFL, the Super Bowl tickets is actually from Metro West area, a Massachusetts resident. And he's very excited, and we may have a little bit more to hear about him around that as well soon. So that's, I'll just put that little teaser in there. For the overall performance of Responsible Gaming Center during Responsible Gaming Education Month, we're super happy to report, and we can't drill down apples to apples of whether or not this is completely related to Responsible Gaming Education Month incentivization efforts and all of our promotions. But as we can see here in the green, 2024 compared to the orange in 2025, the Responsible Gaming Center visits spiked enormously. So as we can see here, the unique visits tripled basically tripled from the 2024 September season to the 2025 September. And then as well as the unique visitors, we had just 2.3 million, close to 2.3 million unique visitors in the month of September 2025. Finally, just really briefly, excuse me, I don't think the slide advanced. Thank you for that. Here we got the slide that just shows these unique visitors, and you're welcome to take a look at that within the packet. The last thing is just the influencer and partner messaging. We continue to engage with our influencers as well as our talent to promote the use of responsible gaming messaging. We did engage, have a lot of messaging and a lot of presence within the month of September, and as well as continue to do so beyond. The last thing I will say before moving on to the next portion with Jared is with relation to the National Problem Gambling Helpline, 1-800-GAMBLER and 1-800-522-4700. We're keenly aware, and as Caroline had said during her presentation with Caesars, we want things to be as easy as possible for people to be able to reach the resources that they need. The most important thing here is the person who seeks those resources for help. And so the more numbers that we add, the more challenging it is, the more confusing it is. And so we continue to want to be a great partner with NCPG. Like Rich, I was on the search and interview committee for the new National Council on Problem Gambling Executive Director. We're pretty excited about the direction, hopefully, that we can partner with Heather, the new Executive Director, to ensuring that we can get all on the same page and really move forward for what the resources that make the most sense to the end customer who is seeking that help. And with that, unless there are any questions from Commission, I will just go ahead and pass it on over to Jared. Or
Mr. Chairman?
Commissioner Hill.
So I don't know if you've seen a couple of our past meetings, but the word influencers versus paid talent has come up a couple of times due to a meeting that Chairman Maynard and I attended recently with our responsible gaming director. Just out of curiosity, I see a lot of the influencers getting a little bit more airtime. Are we getting a better bang for our buck with influencers versus paid talent? Is that something you can answer?
Chair Maynard, Commissioner Hill, thank you for that question. So the answer is, in short, is we do get a bang for our buck because we are able to spread the message to channels where we find our customer bases are more interested in certain areas. For example, UFC. When we partnered with John Anik, we know that there's a lot of UFC people who really like John Anik. We had Carissa Thompson is one of our other influencers, and so we have a variety of people who are in pockets in which people tend to visit the most. Whereas, of course, we do have our talent. We have Kevin Hart, we have LeBron James, we have Shaq. So there are, as far as bang for the buck and as far as being able to pepper in the messaging where people are reached the most frequently, I would say that is a good bang for our buck. And I would leave the rest to our marketing team, who are the experts here around that.
Thank you, Julie, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you both. I'm glad that a resident of the Commonwealth won that RG Super Bowl trip. I will state that.
Thank you. Good morning, commissioners. I'm excited to share some of our community-based impact for Q3 at DraftKings. Starting off, DraftKings is once again the presenting sponsor of Jimmy Fund Day at Fenway, which is presented by the Dana-Farber Cancer Institute. Really great event for that organization, which we've supported for many years. This event gives cancer patients at Dana-Farber a chance to hit and field and have a once-of-a-lifetime experience at Fenway, and is also a great fundraiser for the Institute. So in addition to sponsoring the event, DraftKings employees volunteered at the event throughout the day to help those patients have that incredible experience, and then also had some DraftKings customers and employees participate as well. So great event that we've supported for many years, and once again this year. For 9/11 Day. So 9/11 Day is a really great organization. So this is the first year that DraftKings participated. The goal of 9/11 Day as the organization is to turn, a tragic day and honor the memory of that day into a day of positive and healing. And so DraftKings participated with employees volunteering to pack meals to fight food insecurity across the country. So DraftKings employees volunteered to pack meals in New York and in Las Vegas, and again, try to honor that day through service. So in 2025, DraftKings launched a new program in addition to some of the other veterans groups that we've supported. We've started working again with ACP on a veteran mentorship program. So at the moment, we have matched 25 DraftKings employees to serve as mentors with veterans, seeking career advice, resume review, prepping for interviews, career coaching, professional development, and things like that. So just giving DraftKings employees an opportunity to share their experience, their mentorship with veterans and military service members. We've also added this year a collaboration with Operation Gratitude. So with Operation Gratitude, DraftKings employees volunteer to create paracord lanyards that are then delivered along with personal letters to service members who are currently serving. So we've added this to our DK Immersion, which is our monthly onboarding program. So within the first few days of employment, all U.S. new hires volunteer with DraftKings and participate in this with this organization, again, to write letters and create these paracords that are then shipped and delivered to service members. So to date, Operation Gratitude's delivered over 4 million care packages to military and first responders, and excited that DraftKings has been a part of that this year. And then finally, in Q3, we continued to work with Vets in Tech. This has been a long-term program with DraftKings. So with Vets in Tech, we've continued our Tech for Heroes initiative, in which we train veterans and their spouses in high demand tech skills. So that's continued. We've continued to train veterans throughout the year and had several classes throughout Q3. In August, DraftKings also supported Vets in Tech by attending their quarterly employer meetup. So this is where DraftKings employees share career advice and job search support for veterans and military spouses who are participating in the Vets in Tech program. So to date, we've donated over $3 million through this program to empower veterans and train them in tech skills. And I think that's the end of our presentation.
Thank you, Jared. Commissioners, questions? Thank you again for taking us around and letting us see that new space. Julie, we appreciated it. All right. Can we do, commissioners, thank you to the DraftKings team. We always appreciate those updates and keeping us abreast of everything going on down the street from us. Commissioners, can we take a 10-minute break? All right, so let's meet in about 10 minutes. Okay, Connor, I think we can take down the screen. Hold on just a second. All right. This is a reconvening of the Massachusetts Gaming Commission. It's approximately 11:57 a.m. We left off on item number 5, Fanatics. But before we do that, we'll do a roll call since we're holding this virtually. Good morning still, Commissioner O'Brien.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning, Commissioner Hill.
Good morning, I'm here.
Good morning, Commissioner Broder.
Yes, sir.
All right. With that, I'm going to kick it over back to Tom Lamb, I believe.
Thank you, Chair. And the next presenters will be Michael Levine and his team from Fanatics Betting and Gaming.
All right, commissioners, can everyone see my screen?
We can.
Yes.
And I'm hopeful it's the PowerPoint.
Yes.
Perfect. Well, Happy New Year, commissioners, chair and MGC staff. Mike Levine here, Senior Regulatory Counsel at Fanatics Betting and Gaming. With me today are Steph Althouse, our Senior Director of People Operations, and Anthony D'Angelo, our Head of Responsible Gambling. Let's make sure this works. There we go. I'm going to quickly hop into our sports wagering revenue in the Commonwealth. For Q3, it was approximately $12.98 million, and we remitted approximately $2.5 million to the Commonwealth in taxes. With that being said, I'm going to pass it off to Steph Althouse, who's going to talk about some of our people initiatives here at FBG.
Thanks, Mike. Good morning, Commissioner, Chair, and group of attendees and fellow advocates here. I just want to wish you a happy new year. It's great to see you again in 2026. All right, so jumping in here for the workforce diversity metrics for Q3. Q over Q, we remained largely stable with only minor fluctuations across most levels and demographic groups. Within the US, we had an overall diverse representation that, as you can see, continues to perform relatively strongly, holding steady at the 50% over our closely aligned target of 51%. Globally, we have a minority representation remained relatively consistent quarter over quarter. We did observe a modest decline, approximately 2 percentage points in the women's representation at the manager level. However, doing some digging and analysis, this was mostly driven to increased male representation and restructure and additions, as opposed to women attrition in those levels. And then within the US, overall representation for women remained mainly stable throughout this quarter. In response, we're continuing to strengthen our leadership development, strengthen some of our succession planning efforts to support balance advancement over time. This includes ongoing review of our internal promos, which we will have coming up this Q1. Also expanded access to leadership development opportunities and enhanced visibility into all of our succession planning for most of our critical roles here. We'll continue to monitor each quarter to identify trends, themes, and ensure that leadership representation evolves and continues to get us to where we want to be for our goals, and mostly that we remain equitable across our company. Jumping into the next slide. Thanks, Mike. So you've seen this slide, but essentially we're committed here at Fanatics to fostering an inclusion workplace that values a broad range of experiences, perspectives, and experiences here. So this includes, not limited to, race, ethnicity, sexual orientation, disability status, veteran status, or even socioeconomic backgrounds. Our approach is grounded in fairness, respect, and equal opportunity across all aspects of our employee life cycles. Our fan groups continue to serve as an important component, and one that we're very proud of here in our industry. So these employee-led networks are designed to support this inclusive culture. really elevate our awareness across the company, and then also provide a range of diverse experiences for our employees. They also aim to contribute to business objectives for any employee engagement, leadership development, and even some of our recruiting outreach as well. And then lastly here, our AAPI community engagement and then our La Liga Fanatics Alliance networks are fully established, actively running and operating. So they now have continuing ongoing programming and participation across the org. And then our fans remain open to all employees and be able to serve as an opportunity to provide additional avenues for collaboration, connection, and engagement that supports both workforce and our broader business goals. On the next slide, just want to talk about a few Q3 engagement activities that we hosted here. So on the first point, we saw Mercury 13 partnership, and this is where it was an event that kicked off with a night of conversation and connections under the lights of Estadio Pina Monique, and featured iconic footballers Lauren Holiday, Jill Scott, and Vero Bouquet, alongside leaders from Nike, PlayStation, Netflix, and more. So this night really championed Mercury 13 and Fanatics Collectibles' missions to collect, shape, and future of women's football and delight fans. Secondly, we hosted a Health Awareness Month event where essentially the Veterans Fan Group was a part of something they called Real Conversation on Service and Sports. This was hosted by Eric Hipple, who's a retired NFL Lions quarterback, a mental health advocate, and also the author of Real Men Do Cry. And then Shannon Dilemma worked alongside Eric, who is our Senior Director of Benefits at Fanatics. And this was moderated by Skip Smith, who is our Senior VP of Operation at Fanatics Commerce. So conversation was really around exploring how we foster a culture of support across all of our teams and communities. And really putting at the forefront how important it is to aim into mental health benefits and resources that we have, and more offerings that we can give to our employees. And then lastly here, we also continued our partnership with Marcus Graham Project, the Washington Wizards, Monumental Sports, and Moet Hennessy for a third consecutive year to host the ICR Sports Marketing Workshop. So this is a collaboration that exemplifies the powerful intersection of sports, community engagement, and social impact. So the event essentially was a gathering of a group of young professionals from the DMV area, 21 plus, that provided some wins and hands-on experiences in the sports marketing industry. Throughout the week, participants attended a series of engaging panels featuring speakers from the Monumental Sports and Entertainment, Fanatics, and Hennessy as well. Topics range from sports marketing career pathways, female representation in the industry, as well as cultural impact on marketing and alumni-led fireside chats. And that is what I have on my portion. Turn it back over to you, Mike.
Thanks, Steph. Really appreciate it. Commissioners, we'll quickly talk about the Q3 diverse and Massachusetts spend. So across the Commonwealth, our total vendor spend this quarter was $703,000. And our total diversity spend across the company in Q3 was over $1.2 million. With that said, I'm going to pass it off to Anthony D'Angelo, our head of responsible gambling.
Thank you, Mike. Can everyone hear me okay? My mic's sometimes temperamental. Great. Good afternoon, Chair Maynard, commissioners, MGC staff. Anthony D'Angelo, I have the responsible gaming team here at Fanatics. I'm going to take you guys through the 3 metric slides, but as well as at the end, talk about some of the Q3 RG initiatives that we teed up and are happy to support continually, which is great. So the first slide here is our underage report metrics. We had 26 underage registration attempts in Q3, all of which were blocked at the point of registration. And then in Q3, we also had 7 suspected underage accounts. All were sent to fraud to investigate and obviously disposition appropriately. Any questions here on this one? If not, we can go to the next slide. On this slide, you'll see our VSC metrics for the rolling 12 months. Last 3 months seem to be on par with the rest. All the individuals who attempted to sign up or had existing accounts with us and then signed up for the Massachusetts VSC were suspended appropriately, timely. Obviously, if they had an account, they were suspended at the point of ingestion of the list. And if they tried to create an account, they were suspended at the point of registration. Go to the next slide, please. Last metric slide here, we'll just talk very briefly about our RG tool usage. As we continue to grow, which is always great to see, our tool usage continues to grow. Big, obviously, props. I think I continue to give props to Mass for having the registration include RG tool setting, which I think obviously helps RG tool usage increase in Massachusetts over other jurisdictions. But additionally, as you'll see on the next slide in a moment, there are a lot of initiatives that we're taking to proactively promote our tooling, give bespoke communications to customers, driving customers to use our RG tools to help manage their own play and drive some behavioral changes for customers. Deposit limits seemingly are always the most used tools that we offer, as well as other operators offer. Okay, so RG Q3 initiatives. So Q3 was RGEM. For us, we do a lot of RG training internally, but also customer communications, as I mentioned, to try to educate and point people towards playing responsibly, as well as using tools to better manage their play. In 2025 in general, we ramped up our RG tool training substantially. And in Q3 leading up to the NFL season, it was no different. If not, it was more rigorous than any other months throughout the year. Just getting our customer facing staff very vigilant, or prepared to be very vigilant during the NFL season, when obviously tool use, or where usage of the platform and volume grows substantially. We had the NCPG come on site to our customer service hubs, both in Denver and in New Jersey, to offer training to all customer service staff. So those are staff that are dealing with customers who go through our normal channels, like through chat support, through email, et cetera. And then we had the NCPG train our entire VIP staff. So that not only customer facing staff, VIP operations, all that stuff, VIP leadership as well. The NCPG training consisted of identifying, indicators of problem play, how to escalate, how to engage, how to de-escalate if necessary, and then also how to support customers who maybe have questions on RG and RG tooling, and point them in the direction to where they can get more information if they need. In addition to the training, right, we had a pretty substantial partner that we included to the Fanatics arsenal, if you will, where we've onboarded and partnered with Necton, which is an open bet company. They offer a responsible gaming risk modeling algorithm and platform. So what that does essentially at a high level is it offers Fanatics a risk score for all of our customers throughout our entire platform, bespoke to responsible gaming. Necton supports our program by monitoring behaviors holistically. They have a proprietary model and algorithm that is backed by research with Dr. Auer, who's very well documented research and published papers. And it helps us kind of heighten or identify elevated risk for certain players that we can get ahead of. In addition to Necton, right, we also partner with Birch's Health, which we've talked about in the past, but in case anyone needs a refresher, Birch's Health is a behavioral health provider. We offer it across all of our jurisdictions, and we married the two in some initiatives, which we're really excited about, is in which we employed Birch's Health to help us draft some communications for specific responsible gaming, let's say trends or triggers. And then use the Necton algorithm and model to then point, those directed comms to customers. Now, by using Birch's Health, right, we now have a pathway to drive more efficient communications. And then by using Necton and their risk score model, we now have this pretty cool feedback loop where we can say, okay, this communication seemingly worked because when we send the customer this communication, their Necton risk score went down. Or if their Necton risk score went the same or went up, maybe we go back to the drawing board a bit on some of these communications. So it provides us with a pretty extensive feedback loop in which, we're constantly looking at our communications and we're constantly revising and enhancing. And also, obviously the people who are looking at the emails and drafting emails are well versed and well knowledge in the space of responsible gaming and patron protection. I'll pause there. Any questions before I get into the 800 Gambler update?
Question? No, Anthony, we're good.
Awesome. I'll just say we are planning on having a session with MGC staff to talk more about Necton. I know we're going through some scheduling communications back and forth, but I think over the next couple of weeks, we'll probably have had a session to give you guys more insight into kind of how we're unlocking Necton and how we continue to unlock Necton. We brought on Necton at the very tail end of Q3, so this update might be a little light, but you'll see Q4 and whatnot. We might have more of an update to talk about all the things we're using Necton for, at least how we're planning on continually using Necton. Lastly, I'll touch on 100 Gambler. Obviously, huge news. Fanatics Betting Gaming remains on the side of, the patron is the most important, right? 100 Gambler is an iconic number. We all can't disagree, but it is antiquated, especially for younger bettors. I probably can't say this for too much longer, but young people like myself, some of them don't want to talk to people face to face or via phone call. So 100 Gambler only offers you the ability to talk to somebody, over phone. So I know there's some discussions that are happening and initiatives happening across the industry, but FBG remains on the side of supporting both the National Council as well as ROGA to help drive any initiative that provides a more complete coverage to our players. And lastly, with respect to, I know the question came up, with respect to how it impacts our marketing, obviously, having to add numbers and whatnot, just kind of proves to be more of a disservice to the consumer of the marketing, because then it obviously shrinks the text. But we, as soon as the announcement was made that 100 Gambler was no longer going to be supported by the NCPG, we additionally added the NCPG's number to all of our marketing communications in jurisdictions in which, we're allowing the 100 Gambler and our national advertisements. So you would see Fanatics Betting and Gaming ads would have 100 Gambler or 522-4700, and then all the other bespoke, state numbers and websites that are required. So, any questions I can answer on anything there?
Nope, I don't think so. Not seeing any.
That's it for me. Appreciate it. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Ant. Really appreciate it. Commissioners, I'm going to finish the presentation with our community outreach and charitable impacts. In addition to the programs that Steph highlighted earlier, I'll touch on the Fanatics' continued partnership with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. As the official sports partner of Make-A-Wish Foundation, we supported various sports-related wishes in Q3 that took place across the country and across all major sports leagues. In July, Fanatics hosted Fanatics Fest, which is the largest immersive and interactive sports fan festival in the world. At Fanatics Fest, there were multiple wishes granted to wish recipients. Of note, one of the wish recipients met his idol, Tom Brady, and got to spend the day with Tom Brady at Fanatics Fest. With that said, what I'd like to do is I'd like to provide a comprehensive 2025 update of our wishes this next quarter at the end for our Q4 presentation. But I will say that as of today, we've supported over 880 wishes, and we intend to hit 1,000 wishes by the end of 2026. And that concludes our presentation. Any questions, commissioners?
Any questions for Mike Levine, the rest of the team? I think we're good.
Great. Well, thank you all for your time today, and Happy New Year, and we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
See you. Thank you to Fanatics. We're going to kick this back over to Tom Lamb.
Thanks again, Mike. Thanks again, Fanatics. And the next presenters will be from Christina and her team with Fin.
Thanks, Tom. We'll just get our slide deck up. Thanks, Josh, for that.
A little bit of echo happening. Yep, thank you.
I have an echo.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It sounds like you're calling a baseball game.
Let me try taking my headphones out. Apologies, everyone. Give it one second.
I think that's better. I just heard.
Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
That's better.
Oh, great. Thank you. Apologies for that. I'm Christina Vanderveer. Hello, all to the commissioners. I'm council director on the regulatory strategy and engagement team here at FanDuel. And joining me for this presentation of our third quarter information is Keita Young, Vice President of Community Impact, Cam Zuckert, Senior Manager for Responsible Gaming, and JJ Jelks, Vice President of Inclusion. And I'll start by going over our Q3 revenue numbers. What the commission has in front of it on this slide are the Q3 revenue numbers by month. These same revenue numbers were submitted to the commission as well. The next slide demonstrates our underage report metrics. Again, Q3 metrics by month, starting with underage registration attempts, suspected underage use of an account, and confirmed underage use of an account. And I think we can move on to the to the RG tool usage as well. Cam, I don't know if you want to speak to this slide.
Yep. Thanks, Christina. Good afternoon, Chair, Commissioners, and staff. Cam Zuckert, Senior Manager on the Responsible Gaming team here at FanDuel. Happy to be with you all this afternoon, and I will kick it off with an overview of some of these metrics and RG tool usage, and then we'll go on to speak a bit more about responsible gaming, specifically our RGEM efforts and some of the work with our VIP program. Excuse me. For an overview of our Q3 metrics on voluntary self-exclusions and timeouts, we had 122 VSEs in Q3 of this year. Just clarifying, this is the number, this is the amount of matches from the Massachusetts VSE list. So the number of names from Mass that have FanDuel accounts that have self-excluded. With regards to timeouts, in the third quarter, 0.2% of Massachusetts accounts elected to take a timeout with a median length of about 28 days. And just as a quick refresher, timeouts are offered for any amount of days between 3 and 365 days. And then beyond a year, self-exclusion would be the longer term break. And these rates are pretty consistent with what we've seen over the past few quarters. Regarding our responsible gaming tool usage, our most popular core tool remains the global deposit limit, with 4.2% of active users using this tool in Q3 in Massachusetts, which was a slight increase from 3.8% in the second quarter. The rest of the RG tool usage rates have stayed pretty consistent over past quarters, with a slight increase in overall tool usage as a result, I think, of some of our Responsible Gaming Education Month initiatives, which I'll speak to in a bit, and the kickoff of the NFL season and some increased RG communications we had around that. As we work to kind of continue to prioritize growing our tool usage rates, I do want to note that our main goal here is normalizing responsible play and removing the stigma associated with use of RG tools. It's not just about something that someone should use if they feel they're having a gambling problem, but something that anybody really should be using as part of a healthy relationship with the product. So we're continuing to drive people to our MySpend dashboard, which is the personalized spend that they've had over different periods of time, whether it's monthly or quarterly. We're continuing to see strong engagement there, as you can see at the bottom of the table, and we'll be running some more incentivization sweepstakes in 2026 centered on MySpend as well. So we can go ahead and jump to the next slide. Great. So Responsible Gaming Education Month. I know most of the other operators spoke about this, so I'll run through what we did in September pretty quickly, both from an internal and external perspective. The main kind of theme that we tried to emphasize this past September was gambling literacy for our customers. So we prioritized educational content and communications on things like probability, the gambler's fallacy, understanding that playing more doesn't impact odds or increase your chance of winning, things like that. So one of the main components of this was an educational sweepstakes. This was a campaign based on taking a gambling literacy quiz, which was promoted through our application to our customers on carousel cards that were live in the application 24/7 throughout the month of September. Participating in this was incentivized through two things. One was through our partnership with Major League Baseball, where participants were entered for a chance to win tickets to the World Series. And we also ran a different RG sweepstakes in September with an effort to kind of expand reach and appeal, which was through our partnership with the WNBA. That one was for a chance to win autographed WNBA jerseys. And so the entries between those two totaled over 200,000, which was really great engagement. Unfortunately, unlike Julie, I can't confirm if the World Series ticket winner was from the state of Massachusetts, but for the purpose of this call, let's go ahead and say that they were. Beyond the sweepstakes, we had educational communications that were sent out promoting the sweepstakes. We did also specifically work closely with the Mass Council on Gaming and Health to have a Massachusetts-specific email that included promotion of Game Sense along with that gambling literacy quiz. And sticking with past traditions of RGM, we also put out posts on our FanDuel-owned social channels and the channels of our various RG ambassadors and talent partners, people like Rob Gronkowski, PGA golfer Tom Kim, and our RG ambassadors, Randy Livingston, Anita Smith, and Craig Carton, emphasizing kind of the importance of responsible gaming and taking time to think about one's play and activity on the platform. We also amplified Roga's Know Your Play educational platform through social posts as well. The last external thing I'll quickly touch on from Q3 was in September, we announced our partnership with Keith White, former head of the National Council on Problem Gambling, as a strategic advisor to our responsible gaming program. And so through this partnership, he'll be not just focused on our Trusted Voices brand, which is our kind of parent, coach, and youth education platform, but also generally focused on how we can identify new partnership opportunities or advising on some of the responsible gaming content that we put out over the next year. And then quickly, just internally, we did hold our 4th annual Play Well Day, which is an internal effort kind of focused on having our employees take a day to step back and understand why the work that we do in the responsible gaming space is important. This year, we had a lived experience presentation in person in our Jersey City office from someone from Epic Global Solutions, which was also live streamed to the whole company. Excuse me. And we had an in-office responsible gaming pledge activation in New York City where employees kind of took a photo and made a specific pledge on how they plan to incorporate RG into their work or help continue to support FanDuel in acting as a responsible operator. We also had some virtual RG lunch and learns throughout the month where our RG team spoke about our tools, strategic developments, and other things that we do to protect our customers in an effort to just further educate our employee base on what we do for responsible gaming. So I'll pause there quickly if there are any questions. Otherwise, we can jump to the next one.
Hearing
All right. I did want to touch on one other important topic. That's something that myself and the rest of FanDuel's RG team are always focused on, which is our VIP program. So I want to speak quickly on some of the important overlap between responsible gaming and VIP at FanDuel. At a high level, our VIP program really prioritizes compliance and protecting customers to the point where the VIP team's success is measured by service-related goals that include promoting responsible play, maintaining compliance, and consistently taking training. So on the training point, we obviously have our company-wide required RG trainings on an annual basis. Our VIP account managers and VIP hosts take at least 5 responsible gaming and or compliance trainings a year in addition to the standard RG training. They're also subject to the specific trainings for all customer-facing employees, which includes guidance on how to make escalations based on potentially problematic behavior. Our RG team also works closely with VIP to put on multiple lived experience sessions, like the one I touched on that we did for our Play Well Day, but multiple throughout the year to again communicate the importance of understanding the risks related with problem gambling and prioritizing kind of communicating our RG tools and knowing when and how to limit potential gambling related harms. They also have frequent opportunities to recognize employees specifically in relation to either responsible gaming or compliance and noting individuals who really excel in that space. One example I'll just quickly highlight is that kind of I think shows this is a priority is our VIP email signatures were updated to focus on RG tools and resources as opposed to sales related message or something like that. So you can see an example on the right, kind of noting that we're directing people to our Play Well resources and our RG tools. We'll quickly jump to the last slide. Thank you. A few other things to just quickly note related to the VIP program. One, at onboarding, so at the point when a customer is being onboarded as a VIP, they're sent a Know Your Customer kind of onboarding package and survey. Part of this includes information on our RG tools and education around how they work, videos on how to use them, et cetera. And it's required that the incoming VIP customer attests to having familiarity with the tools and where to find them. And the account managers have to confirm they've received that attestation before they complete the onboarding of the new VIP. As I mentioned on the previous slide as well, the VIP account managers are made aware of the importance of how and when to escalate potentially concerning behavior, both through trainings with our RG operations team and at times external partners as well, and the standard training that we do. The last thing I'll just touch on quickly here is some of the goals for VIP account managers during their year-end reviews and performance evaluations. Things like escalations for RG review, 100% consistency for obtaining the appropriate compliance approvals for things like bonuses or generosity, including those RG messages and links in their email signatures or other communications, and successfully passing compliance evaluations for their hosted events. So I think all that kind of hits on the point that FanDuel's VIP program is one that takes both regulatory compliance, but also responsible gaming and protecting our customers very seriously. So I'll pause quickly for any questions on anything I've spoken about here this afternoon.
Pam, I would say thank you for the VIP. Given the commission conversations,
Mr. Chairman, your audio.
I'm having trouble hearing you, Jordan.
Yeah, I couldn't quite.
Oh, can you hear me
It's
now?
like garbled. Yeah.
Yeah, I got you.
I said thank you for Cam over the overview for your VIP program. Given the commission's interest in VIP program, I would expect that in 2026 we're going to be taking up some more around this. And I see Commissioner O'Brien maybe.
I'm still having, no, I think I know the point you're getting at, and I reiterate it, but you're cutting out every once in a while.
That's strange, so I'm going to check into that. But Commissioner O'Brien can probably finish my thought, which is we're interested in VIP program.
Yes, yeah, I knew that's what you were getting at. I was just missing like every third word. So, but I do second the idea.
Yeah, message received, and if and when there are questions or requests for information, we're happy to provide anything and everything that you all need. So appreciate it. I'll thank you all for your time today. I will pass it off, I think, to Keita, who's going to be speaking on community impact. Thanks.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Keita Young, VP of Community Impact. So in September, I was here and I spoke about the role and the beginnings of the community impact work and where we were engaging in. We rebranded our community impact logo, I think I talked about before, and we are really proud about our new theme of do more. Months later, I'm proud to say we continue to be about meaningful, measurable, and impact in the communities where FanDuel operates, where we have offices, and where we live and work. Our goal in the community impact space is to demonstrate FanDuel as a responsible corporate citizen through philanthropy, volunteerism, and strategic engagement. We hope to inspire deep engagement to signal a stronger, more visible presence in the community space. It's not just our company's vision, it's about the collective vision of our employees, with our employees, to make a difference. So I continue to be proud of our work and super excited about 2026. The next slide, please. So our community impact program is made up of 3 pillars, which I spoke about recently: financial literacy empowerment, sports access, and local community development. Our pillars were developed, and we are leaning in on the concepts and themes that are important to us as a company. So we believe that we're stronger together. Sports and the ability to engage in sports is critical, and we achieve that to make it everyone's game. Everyone can be a part of it. And as an entertainment-focused business, we are committed to responsible enjoyment. We are prioritizing financial fitness to help individuals build financial empowerment, which we believe is a critical life skill. So incorporating tangible initiatives, partnerships that drive measurable impact, we believe We are doing more for our communities. Next slide, please. I'd like to discuss some of our efforts in Massachusetts and then discuss more broadly where we've shown up in other states and other areas. So under our first pillar, financial literacy, we're about supporting individuals and communities with financial empowerment. So in Massachusetts, our efforts have seen success with the Hope Inside program, which I've talked about frequently in the past couple years. And since 2024, we've funded salaries for 3 dedicated financial coaches. I'm happy to say we're renewing with Operation Hope for another 2 years, and we're focusing on the populated areas in Massachusetts of Worcester and Springfield. And then we're extending services through this program to include credit and money management. Operation Hope provides us quarterly reporting of the impact. And this partnership, I can say, really showcases our principles of stronger together to really create a difference. Our financial fitness efforts extend beyond Massachusetts and include Michigan, Kentucky, Maryland, and Ohio. We continue to work with Marlene Warner of the Massachusetts Council on Gaming and Health and representatives from the Vermont Department of Mental Health with their continued work with GameSense. We are doing more, you'll hear that a lot, to support financial empowerment, training, and education across the country. So our second pillar, sports access, is our new pillar, and I think I spoke about that last time I was here. When we look at this from this perspective, we think about what we can do to support communities through sports engagement and access. We believe in supporting physical wellness, teamwork, social connection, and community pride. We've partnered with 2 national organizations to help drive this pillar, Next 18 and the Red, White, and Blue. These 2 organizations support veterans and military families with mental health, wellness, and physical activity through sports. I'm excited today to really talk about where we've leaned in this new pillar and what we can do in this space. We recently added a new partner to create greater impact and future work in this space. I can't announce quite yet the partner, but I'm very excited and I will have more information next quarter. This is a little bit of a teaser, but we are leaning in the sports access space and happy to share next quarter what that looks like. And last, local community development. This is about addressing the individual needs of individual communities. We recognize here at FanDuel that one community may differ from the needs of another community, and we are listening and responding accordingly. It's about empowering individuals and communities. And our goal in this space is to enhance economic, social, and environmental well-being in local communities. In Massachusetts, like I spoke about, we focused on financial literacy with Operation Hope. And in addition, we recently supported the Community Rowing Project, which is an organization committed to transforming the greater Boston community through growth gained through rowing. It supports people of all backgrounds and abilities and allows them to have access to rowing and really being a part of the community. Some of our efforts in this third pillar have included disaster relief efforts, veterans, first responders support, cancer relief centers, and really supporting disenfranchised communities. Most recently, I want to talk about our efforts at the end of last year, where FanDuel leaned in during the holiday season to address the needs of community, addressing food insecurity. That was something that was really important to us. There was a need, an immediate ask, and FanDuel showed up and supported pantries and organizations in California, Hawaii, Indiana, Michigan, Minnesota, Maryland, Virginia, Mississippi, Missouri, Georgia, North Carolina, and Tennessee. I'm proud to say that we are really doing more, and FanDuel is really leaning in. This is some of the proud work we are doing, and we continue to do more under the Do More campaign, addressing the needs specific to local communities. As I stated last session I was here, our strategy isn't about charity, it's about purpose and building relationships. It's about long-term measurable impact with a focused strategy, authentic partnerships, clear pillars, and clear outcomes, we hope FanDuel intends and will make a measurable impact. We are doing more. So the next slide, if you could show it, put it up, please, is really showcases some of our volunteer efforts, specifically what our employees are doing and leaning in with the company. We can go on to the next slide to discuss supplier diversity. So FanDuel still remains committed to supplier diversity and local economic empowerment. Our total spend for supplier diversity is north of 42 million. In Massachusetts, it was around 64,000. With our robust plan and strategy in place, we are continuously looking for opportunities to increase impact in this particular space. Our recent developments, as you can see, we're now live on our supplier registration portal to allow suppliers to register themselves with us so we can understand and appreciate them and also engage them in our supplier efforts. And we recently hosted 5 small businesses at G2E to provide greater exposure for them to increase business. Thank you. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer. It's always a pleasure being here. If there's no questions, I'm going to pass it off to JJ, VP of Inclusion.
Thank you, Keita. Just want to see if my mic is working. That's my #1 question. All right.
I can hear you.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for that update as always. We appreciate it and look forward to seeing you at the next one.
All right. Good afternoon, Chair, Commissioners, and everyone. Happy New Year. Good to see you all. I'm JJ. I lead Employee Experience and Inclusion at FanDuel. This slide is just an overview of our approach to inclusion, which is dynamic and ever evolving, but grounded in these 3 pillars of attract, elevate, and retain. Attracting being about our goal to expand our reach and ensure top talent not only knows about us, but sees us as a place where they can belong and they can thrive. Elevate is about continued progression, nurturing the growth of our folks, creating pathways, and providing resources that our people need at the time they need them to ensure sustained career development with us. And lastly, retain is about what keeps our talent here. It's how we're keeping our eyes on the North Star and continuing to build a culture of connection, individual purpose, and belonging. We want our folks to feel supported, valued, and excited to stay and grow with us. In Q3, a lot of the groundwork was laid in the first half of the year. It was brought to life. We reviewed our partnerships, launched some new ones, hosted events that will soon become annual traditions for FanDuel, and invite our wider community to join in and help shape our culture together. On the next slide, I'll walk through some of the initiatives and moments that made this quarter so special for us. So to ignite our attract pillar, we started to partner a bit more closely with our talent acquisition team, as well as our engineering and risk and trading teams. This helped us lay the groundwork to expand our talent funnel globally. So one of the most exciting partnerships we kicked off this quarter is with Rewriting the Code, also known as RTC. RTC is a global community that supports and advances college and early career women in tech, with a network that spans in the US, UK, Ireland, which is 3 of our key markets. And through this partnership, we'll have the opportunity to post roles directly to their network, participate in curated outreach and brand activations, and engage with the candidates through events and career programs. So this is going to help us expand our pipeline in tech and invest in some of the same communities that we hope to attract. And our kickoff with RTC is set to commence in Q4, and we'll be able to provide an update at our next meeting with you on how everything went. Next slide, please. And then under our Elevate pillar, we've continued to focus on growth and development by creating spaces for our folks to learn, connect, and build leadership skills in new and engaging, and most importantly, fun and memorable ways. One of the highlights this quarter was our partnership activation with Poker Power, which was really great. We hosted a curated event we called Raising the Stakes, Women Who Lead. And this event brought together FanDuel's most senior women from across our organization for an evening of networking, learning, and leadership development, which was all centered around the game of poker. So interestingly enough, poker teaches skills that translate directly to leadership, like strategy, decision-making, confidence, and risk-taking, which made this experience very unique. for our senior women, and also lends to our goal to attract talent. The success of this event started as a quarterly engagement and has now become a tentpole event where we're doing these every quarter. And the feedback was incredible, and we're looking forward to continuing this. Next slide, please. Under our retain pillar, one of the key goals is to foster connection and belonging. And with that, we decided to start with our own people team. So like most companies, we all take engagement surveys, culture surveys, but regardless of where you work, you can usually bet that happiness, retention, and belonging has to start with your people team. We touch every area of the business and really impact the moments that matter, life events, and just the overall experience at work. We didn't boil the ocean with this and started small to build some engagement. So very small, started with the game day social, some wellness initiatives, and moments for us to connect as a team, build camaraderie, and most importantly, create spaces for our folks to be seen and heard, which is really what inclusion is all about. The results of the efforts have been great and have helped.
I believe we lost. Commissioners, are we having trouble also hearing this?
Can you guys hear me now?
We can
Yes.
hear you now.
Was it me? I'm sorry.
I had a mic issue just as in your same presentation, so no worries.
Okay. All right. Tell me, where should I pick back up? I have no idea where I dropped.
We just lost you about probably 5 seconds ago, 10 seconds before I said something.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So we were talking, the social events. The efforts have been great and help galvanize the team for future events and collaboration opportunities. And this includes not only going to offsites, but looking forward to them, and also telling people about FanDuel and the experiences that are unique that make them want to come here and stay here. This has also created the space for internal working groups that directly impact our ways of working by gathering new perspectives and developing inclusive practices that are helping shape the way that we operate. And are you all able to see the slides at all? Let's see.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. It wasn't showing for me for some reason. All right. And the energy around the initiatives has been great. People are feeling more connected than ever, and we're continuing to share the momentum and hope to build on it over time. And additionally, in Q3, we expanded our inclusion reach and welcome regional champions in each office, because we're primarily located in New York, to be an extension of our team and help us connect with people on a more localized basis. And we hope that that continues to progress and provide more of a curated experience for everyone. And next slide, please. Right, in Q3, we maintained steady momentum, driving continued progress and representation across the organization through these partnerships. And we saw an increase in veterans representation, reflecting the impact of our reach and partnerships in the space. And I know we're talking about Q3, but I'm also pleased to share that I've now joined the veteran community after retiring for the Army with 25 years of service. And I'm personally excited about our efforts to continue with more military, making them aware of FanDuel. And next, to highlight some of our efforts at the VP and executive level, we've increased women's representation and minority representation. The increases are steady, the efforts are working, and we believe that these things will continue to occur as we, have purposeful partnerships and we continue to do the right things and make FanDuel a place where people want to work. And with continued momentum in these pillars, we'll keep going, and we look forward to continuing to share how things are progressing for us in each quarter.
JJ, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Commissioner Broder, on the data information block at the lower left, you have some exclusion things there. I get temps, contract, and intern. What's secondment?
Those are folks that have come from other areas that may be with Flutter, not per se FanDuel, that come for their experience.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. You're welcome.
And I think that concludes FanDuel's presentation.
All right, commissioners, do we have, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Any
Thank you.
questions? All right. I will just repeat, Cam, since my mic's working now, that given our interest in the VIP program in 2025, I imagine we will have continued interest in 2026, and that you guys will be talking, as well as every other operator, with Mark Vander Linden with some frequency. And so thank you for addressing that. All right. We're going to kick it back over to Tom Lamb.
Thanks, Christina. Thanks, FanDuel, for your presentation. And the last presentation of the day will be presented by Adam Cates of Penn Sports Interactive.
Thank you, Tom. Good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you for having me today and allowing us to do our Q3 2025 presentation. Let me just figure out if I can get this shared properly. Are we good? Perfect. I know I'm last, and as usual, while I won't rush.
Wait, what we see is your computer screen. I thought you were bringing up your presentation. I see your presentation. There we go.
There we go.
I saw it on the bottom.
So we're okay now? Great. Like as I was saying, as usual, I won't rush through this, but I will keep it quite brief. So if you have any questions, please feel free to stop at any time, and I'm happy to dig into anything further should you want to talk about that. So we'll get into our revenue numbers to start. I will leave this on the screen for just a couple seconds to see if there are any questions, comments.
I think we're good on revenue.
Okay. Just over to our workforce diversity numbers. Our employee headcount and our respective percentages in each category remain relatively consistent. I will leave this on the screen again if there are any questions. Moving on to our vendor and supplier diversity spend. This number does fluctuate quarter to quarter based on any events or ad hoc initiatives that we are doing at the time. As you can see, our number has increased from our previous quarter, but this number does fluctuate quarter to quarter just based on our initiatives and our activities. On to the compliance metrics. We had 17 attempts at KYC, which were rejected or declined due to the individuals being underage. We've had 0 confirmed cases of underage activity, as well as 0 suspected cases of underage activity, which is fairly consistent with our previous 3 quarters. And of course, if that number does change, we do engage with Director Teresi and her staff and report and discuss any instances of suspected or confirmed underage activity. Over to furthering in more details on our responsible gaming stats. We had 48 individuals in the quarter register for the voluntary self-exclusion program. One thing to note here, on the right-hand side, the number or the percentage rather of the Massachusetts accounts which have at least one RG tool initiated. Last quarter, our percentage was just over 3%, and this has now increased to 5.14%. It's possible this has something to do with September being Responsible Gaming Education Month, but we will certainly track that number and see if we are trending upwards, which is a pretty positive sign in the responsible gaming field. So by next quarter, we'll be able to see if this is an actual sustainable increase or if there were other factors. So we did have an increase on that I wanted to point out. And then as usual, the vast majority of individuals in Massachusetts who do establish a timeout or a cool-off are putting themselves on these timeouts for 6 months or more. That number remains relatively consistent for us as well. Over to the lottery. I think we were one of the early adapters in terms of engaging the Massachusetts lottery. So we continue to offer the same promotions that we have been for quite some time, which is offering our online customers the option to come into our PPC property and redeem free Massachusetts lottery tickets. If it's not broken, don't fix it. We've had relatively good success with this promotion, and our engagement with the Massachusetts lottery remains fairly consistent. So we keep running the same promotion. And if anything changes, we'll let you know. But like I said, we continue to operate this one because it's been relatively successful for us so far. And then lastly, on our community outreach and charitable impact screen, during the quarter, we did support 2 organizations that serve Massachusetts communities, specifically in the areas around our Penn Game Studios office in Greenfield. Penn Game Studios is our team in Massachusetts, which develops and supports some of our online casino offerings in the states that we do offer online casinos. They are based out in Massachusetts. So we did support 2 organizations in their general office area in Greenfield. We made monetary donations to the Deerfield River Watershed Association, which promotes healthy habitats, clean water, and responsible public use for the watershed in both Massachusetts and Vermont. And then lastly, we supported LifePath, which is a nonprofit organization which serves the older community, older residents, people with disabilities, and caretakers in the western and central areas of Massachusetts. This concludes the presentation portion, or this the planned presentation. I'm happy to go back to any of the other slides and discuss anything further if you have any questions.
Thank you, Adam. Commissioners, questions for Adam? Is it cold in Toronto, Adam?
It's unseasonably warm today. Some of Commissioner O'Brien's comments at the beginning. We're in Celsius. So I don't know what it is in Fahrenheit, but I'm going to put it somewhere around 45, if I had to guess.
I saw the little 4 and I'm like, holy Toledo.
It is, yeah. Oh, 4 Celsius. Okay, you saw my laptop. Yeah, it's a very strange equation that I can't do in my head, but I'm going to guess it's somewhere between 40 and 50 today.
Well, that is unseasonably warm, and we're getting ready to warm up here in Boston a little bit too. All right. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it. We appreciate that update. Is there anything else, Tom?
That is all the presenters for today.
Chief Teresi, are we good?
We are all set. Thank you.
All right. Commissioners, anything else we wanted to ask? Do we have any commissioner updates? Any other business? All right. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Commissioner O'Brien.
Aye.
Commissioner Hill. Aye. Commissioner Broder.
Yes.
And I will say, because I didn't say at the beginning of the meeting, Commissioner Skinner was not able to attend this meeting, but she will be joining us again soon. All right, everyone, enjoy your day.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.